Hello and welcome to the show. Now I am a really big fan of going racing with rather silly vehicles, and well, you can't get much sillier racing vehicles than the sidecar races. These are absolutely crazy things, a rather spectacular sight to behold when they go racing with these, and thanks to the power of mods on rFactor, I can actually have a go at racing one. I'm going to be taking it around the Port Wakefield circuit, a classic Australian motorbike racing track. I believe it is rather fast, rather narrow, really quite dangerous, and also very, very bumpy. And these things do not like the bumps so much. These sidecars are, an interesting experience to go racing with. My main goal is, can I survive 12 laps? If I can keep myself alive for 12 laps around here, I will be honestly quite happy. And whether I will or not, I don't know. You can just about make out in the very distance when the race starter drops the flag, and it looks like I'm going to be stuck on the outside coming up towards turn one. That is not a fun place to be. I have to have a little, I backed out a little bit of it with these. There are 20 of us going racing in this field of bikes. Now, those of you that have seen sidecar racing, I'm getting really well and truly bullied there. The actual passenger on here is animated slightly. He doesn't move about as much. Like in the actual racing, he will properly lean across the bike and lean either side. The passenger doesn't do that on here. You can just about see him moving about. Let's face it, rFactor was not exactly designed with sidecar racing in mind, but it's quite cool that we do get the option to give it a try. I am not having the greatest of first laps. I should be a little bit cautious. Try and not get in trouble. Just try and survive. This opening lap is it's always a good thing. Now, the difficulty with these bikes is they pull to the left quite noticeably. Under acceleration, they'll pull to the left. Under braking, they can do it as well. So I spend quite a lot of my time sort of steering to the right with these. Other big difficulties are the brakes. Oh, sorry, Renault livery bike. The brakes are not very good. They really don't get slowed down particularly well. It's there are only a couple of big stops on this circuit, but it is terrifying going into each of them. The AIs at the moment, because we're still all kind of fairly early on, the AIs can also often get themselves into a little bit of trouble, kind of backing one another up and then being quite early on the brakes and kind of causing general mayhem for everybody. And I've had not a particularly good first couple of laps. Right, let's try and find a rhythm, and maybe we can make some more progress through the field. I did try to run this race with, I think I had about 30 AI set up. It didn't like me. It ran at about a frame a minute and then crashed. So, 30 bikes around here, not so good. With 20, works pretty damn well. I don't quite know. I've never had rFactor get so unhappy with me before when sticking bikes on, or sticking vehicles on a race. But there we go. As I said, this place is incredibly bumpy, which is a little scary. In these sidecars, at the front end, it just goes absolutely berserk. I imagine not exactly comfortable. Inside one of these, we've made our way past. It is Roman Grosjean. They've got all sorts. They've got Formula 1 liveries and Motor GP liveries and a few manufacturer liveries as well around the place. They're quite cool looking bikes. It's quite cool racing against sort of Formula 1 drivers in sidecar bikes. Oh, we've got a real big train going on up here. That kind of helps me, in all honesty. If we can all kind of cluster together, it means I don't have to drive quite as quickly because they slow each other down. It's good news for me as far as making progress through the field goes, as I can hopefully pick off the odd straggler here and there. Aside from the things that I mentioned about the bike sort of pulling and the brakes being a little awkward to work with, aside from that, it's actually not that bad to drive. There is, I don't know how much power there actually is in one of these things, but on the most part you can boot it out of the corners. You don't get crazy wheel spin from the thing, and it's actually pretty damn planted on the road. There is plenty of grip through these corners. I can't actually quite see my speedo at the moment, where I've got my steering wheel on my desk, but you're certainly taking plenty of speed. 110-ish miles an hour we're taking through there. Can we have a sneaky? Yep, we're going to have a sneaky up the inside because everybody's forming a little bit of a train. And we'll get past the Hornet over there to make our way up into 17th place. It's a huge train. I spot an orange bike. I want the orange bike. Oh, what lap are we? What lap are we on? We're surviving. We're on lap 4 at the moment, which is a good thing. Progress is, yeah, little steady through here. Oh, I may have gone a little late on the brakes. Save me! Oh, McLaren bike. Oh, things may have gone a little wrong. I thought that was probably going to happen at some point around here. Trying to get the braking, judging the braking right for that, that kind of the big important stop in these is an interesting one. At the best of times, you're going at a pretty decent speed, and these things don't really get particularly well stopped, and there's pretty much nothing in the way of braking markers down there. There are a couple, but they're far too late for these things to actually get stopped. So yeah, trying to judge that one is always a little bit on the scary side. I've kind of just about figured it out with the bushes on the left-hand side of the road, but as you try and push it a little bit more and a little bit more, you inevitably are going to get it wrong at some point. And sometimes the AIs are really good in the braking zones, and other times they're really quite cowardly. So yeah, trying to figure that all out. It's a little bit of a challenge of this circuit, and I do apologise to the Perez bike that I managed to put around. Oh, we're going to have a similar story here. Didn't want to do that whatsoever. That's my normal braking point, and because they're all checking up because of one another, they're all braking that little bit sooner down there. Ends up the bike at the back of the train brakes really early, and if you're not quite ready for how early, and that was very early, under braking, you can often get yourself in a little bit of trouble. I'm now going to have to go defensive from a Yamaha as we come down here. A little bit on the inside. Oh, it's very bumpy. Is the Yamaha going to try that around the outside? Please don't still be there. Thank you. It's not a fun place to be trying to go around the outside. The pit wall is right on the exit of that corner as well. So if you do get stuck on the outside, you end up getting forced into the pit wall. In a couple of practice laps, yes, I have hit it. I have sent the bike absolutely flying from running wide and clobbering the pit wall down there. As yeah, it's such a narrow track, this one. There is room for 2 of these sidecar races side by side. That's it. You're not going to get 3 wide. You're physically not going to fit. Maybe down the back straight here. Maybe if someone's feeling brave, you might just squeeze 3 wide. But that's it. You're not going to get more than that. And certainly as you come up down here, and this is barely room for 2 bikes wide. So it's a fascinating track. Incredibly dangerous one, I would imagine. Ooh, that's actually a pretty good lap for me around here. I'm actually starting to get quicker with these things. I was kind of expecting these to be a little bit more awkward to drive, in all honesty. I thought it was going to be a little bit more of a pain in the arse to kind of get the hang of these things. I mean, yes, you're not having to worry about the passenger. That thing there's all kind of automatic. Did something have a go at the inside of me, or did we just get knocked by the bike ahead? I'm not sure. And yeah, a lot of work is done by the passenger in the sidecar racing, so we're not worrying about that as such. And of course, unlike in the motorbike racing games I've played, the bike isn't actually... Oh, I braked at the wrong bush. Never a good thing. Never a good thing to have happen. The bike isn't actually leaning itself, so you're not worrying about that. It's actually not as difficult to get the hang of as you might expect. It's a lot more bumpy than a car. That's my that's the main redeeming feature of the sidecars. Is a lot more bumpy. This is all getting very close. There is a really big train. I want to get up the inside of somebody, not really both of you. I'm happy to take one of you. Suzuki can go and have a... There we go. We've got a place. We're into 13. Ooh, maybe I can make it into the top 10. Again, I could do with the AIs bunching up. When they bunch up, makes my life a hell of a lot easier. I've got a massive train going behind me. Nope, don't even think about it. Don't even think about it. We're going to have to probably go quite defensive down here. Oh, please stop, please stop, please stop. Well, we're going for an overtake, not that I really wanted to. Oh no, we're going to get squeezed out. There is a little bit more contact in this than perhaps in proper sidecar racing. Well, my passenger would probably fallen out with all of this. Things have got a little bit scary all of a sudden. Yeah, trying to get damn thing stopped. I'm still thought I got the hang of it. Apparently not quite. Not quite got the hang of getting it stopped into the main hairpin. This one here, pretty good at. You can have actually some pretty big dives when there's not a great big train of AI bikes up ahead. It's trying to get the get the braking right into the next one. That is where the all-important stuff goes down. Now, I was watching a bit of a train form further up ahead, but I'm a little too far back to really profit from it, and we've got two bikes having a sniff. Is he really going to have a big dive? If he is, I'm not going to be brave enough to do too much about him. Leaving space in case he is. No, he backed out of it. Wise move. Oh, it's so bumpy across the curb. Well, I say across the curb. There aren't really curbs here. It's kind of just mounds of dirt. Oh, we're on to the final. We're on to the final lap. I have valiantly held on to 13th these last few laps. Curbs are vicious. A proper racetrack on with you know, proper curbings had some big issues when I can't remember where I tested it at now. When I just loaded up to make sure the mod was working. Actual sort of proper curbs are scary as anything in these. It's so rough, so bouncy, incredibly easy to spin the bike out. Around here, well, you're either on the tarmac or you're in the grass. So yeah, you don't want to be in the grass. The grass is a bad place to be in these bikes, as you could imagine. But yeah, curbs can cause them issues. Pretty easy to spin, but as I said, aside from that, oh no, we've got it all crossed up. The Suzuki's going to get us, unless we can get a really good run. Come on! No, he's going to put me in the wall, you cheating bugger! That was my position. That was totally my position on that one there, and he put me in the wall. Okay, shall we go NASCAR tactic and crash into him? Apparently we're all congregating over here now. Yeah, I'm not pleased about that. You can go in the gravel trap over there, Mr. Suzuki. Go on, go in the gravel trap. Go in. Oh no, we're having. Oh dear, things are going wrong. I think I lost that fight. Oh, disappointing. I can't believe I lost that on the final. I cut the inside a little too much, got it bounced around. Yeah, these things can get thrown up in the air quite a lot. Fascinating things, though, to go driving with. I can't think of anywhere else where you get to have a go with sidecars. Oh, well, I failed. Kind of half-arsed it and ended up in the gravel trap myself. Hey, shall we go for some celebratory donuts out in here? Yeah, really interesting, very different things to go driving with, to experience. Not quite as difficult, not quite as ridiculous as I was sort of expecting them to be, in all honesty, but they've certainly got their challenges to get the hang of. And this is a fascinating track as well. Very fast. Pretty short, pretty easy to kind of learn the layout, but a really rather scary one. Whoopsie, I may have been speeding in the pit lane ever so slightly. Yeah, a really rather scary track because of the huge amounts of speed. God damn it, don't know what the bike was I was supposed to be crashing into. But yeah, there we go. That was it for some sidecar racing. It's very good fun. I'll put a link to all of the mods that I have used in the description, so you can download it, have a go with them yourself. But that is it from me. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.